Hey, babes.
Do you trust yourself?
Talk
the
about
abundance is real, and it's up
For
to
real.
you to bring it through. Listen, by the end of this video, it's coming in hot. You feel me?
I love it.
Peach gonna drop a hot one for you. Pick it up and run with it. It won't burn you. I promise you'll be okay. Have a little faith. Use your discernment. You feel me? Tap in.
Well, that's it. It's like, are you operating from a perspective of it's never going to happen for me, and then you're still trying to trick yourself that it will, or are you actually believing that it will happen?
Believe it. It will.
Right? And when it comes to discernment, how are you adding to that belief? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you consuming? What are you paying attention to? Who are you allowing to influence your beliefs and your perception?
You know the limiting belief that I just thought of? Not to cut you off.
No.
I love you so much, right? Really, because you were saying bring it in with the whole what I had just had to go through, and I uploaded the album. The abundance is real. Comment that down below right now. The abundance is real. Put that in the comments. The abundance is real.
For real.
Do you feel it? Feel it. Think it. Reveal it. Heal it. Feel it. Anyway, The Abundance is Real, the album. I went through this tedious process. It took probably an hour longer than I expected. And a limiting belief that I have experienced and witnessed is somebody that would go and literally ask me to do it. And if I don't do it, they'll be like, forget it. My album won't be going up because I tried it and then this happened and I ran into this hiccup. And just when I thought I was done, I had to restart and go and do it over. And maybe it's just not meant to be. Whereas I'm like, how long it took? I don't know, hour and 20 minutes. I'm like, and then I'm waiting on it, and I was like, come on, T.
Yeah.
You feel me? No matter what. But
that's
having that core belief of like, is that what it is? Determination.
Yeah. You're gonna see it through.
Sure. We're gonna see this through.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you seeing it through today? Are you seeing it through? I believe you are. I believe in you.
Well, yeah, and that's a big part of it, right? It's this thing of like, people anticipate this thing, or they have the manifestation that they want to bring in, they have the dream that they want to bring in, or they have the project that they want to bring in. They have that, they know what it is, they know that it's there, but it doesn't happen as quickly as they'd like, or the way that they'd like. So then they're halfway there, and then they're like, oh no, it's not even gonna happen, when it's like it might be right around the corner. And it's that thing of like, giving up is just not.
Use that discernment. My discernment told me you can do it. But I think that trick, you get a whole nother thought that goes back to when you mentioned that there are people that grow up, and maybe if you're watching this right now, that have to deal with growing up being told you're worthless, you suck, you will never be anything. That could be a program that is keeping you limited, and you are limitless. Whether you know it or not, now you know. If you didn't know, if you want to challenge me on that, challenge me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. Let's have some dialogue on that. I want to challenge you on that thought, right? But for me growing up, I don't remember hearing anybody ever tell me like you couldn't do it, you can't do it. Not often. And if it did happen, you know what I mean? The you can do it, anything is possible overshadowed though. I know my mom said that so many times. That's always the first thing I think. Told this literal statement. Dante, you could do anything you put your mind to. You know what I mean? Like, okay, and it probably as a kid didn't even, okay, whatever. But now as an adult, it's like, I am programmed to believe if I want to do something, the Rubik's Cube, it's done. The album, it's done.
Well, it's really interesting because that shows up in so many different ways. And like when we were talking about it earlier, we were talking about this thing of like, sometimes people or their parents are quite literally, you're worthless, and it's very direct and whatever. But sometimes that shows up in like, oh, there's not enough money. Or that shows up in, oh no, you can't put that back. We don't have McDonald's money, or whatever that is. That's how that shows up. And
money don't grow on trees.
Right, and it's like those are limiting beliefs that like are sometimes ingrained in people, or you have to act a certain way for people to love you, or you have to act a certain way to keep a man or to keep a woman or to whatever. And it's these things that are ingrained that we have to then go back to this thing of discernment, and who are we listening to? Who is teaching us these things? Who is the one that planted that seed of those thoughts that we've been nurturing for however long? And the seeds that we've been nurturing, the thoughts that we've been nurturing, what have they sprouted? And do we like the things that they've sprouted? Has it been flowers or has it been weeds? What's happening up here? What's happening up here and how are we tending that?
I would love for you to bring it back too, which you also mentioned, even though it's already. Anyway, you could bring in to go from here to here.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's be. Since we're not going to use the word realistic, because like we don't got to be realistic.
Well,
Let's be a little delusional, and we believe it's possible.
In that analogy,
but can you really go from at the bottom of the staircase and do one leap all the way up to floor number 2?
Right. Well, if we're staying in that same analogy of like the weeds and the flowers, right? It's like if you've been growing weeds in your garden, so to speak, your mental garden, so to speak, has been weeds for a very long time. And it's been this thing of like, I've been allowing it to overgrow. I've been allowing it to be kind of unkempt, so to speak. I don't even really like that word to describe it, but that if we're picturing a garden, right? It's been weeds and it's not been intentional growth of flowers or crops or things that I want to see in my garden.
So you got to pull the weeds up first.
You said it.
Okay.
You said it.
You just gave me the whole visual. You gave me the whole visual.
In order to grow the things in your garden that you really want to grow.
And what does that look like for real? Like pulling, all right, that's the analogy. What does that look like for people?
That, you were saying earlier, that looks like asking yourself questions. That
right
looks like asking yourself, where did this seed come from? Where did this come from? When did I first learn this? When did this seed, or when did this, you know, again, sticking with this analogy, when did this weed start growing? Where did this weed come from? You know, where did my thoughts, my beliefs, my actions, especially when it comes to thoughts and beliefs about self, about your potential, about your experience, about what is capable for you, what is possible for you. We have to really ask ourselves.
Sorry to cut you off, but when do you even notice when it's a limit? Some people operate in that.
When you're not happy.
And that's the.
When you're not happy.
Right. But it feels the norm. So I guess maybe right now this could be a moment where you're like realizing, okay,
I'm not happy.
I'm limit. I feel the limits. I feel like I could do more. I feel like I can do better. I feel like I deserve more in this life. I deserve the abundance that I always hear is my birthright. What does that even mean to me? Am I really, you know what I mean? Embodying that and feeling that way in my daily walk of life. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's a part, like, what does that mean to me? And like, that's a whole question. It's like, that's another part of why manifestation sometimes feels...
Manifestations.
No, but no. But that's why sometimes manifestation, the process of manifestation feels so alien or so detached from something. They feel so detached from it because it's not something that they feel like they can actually do, right? Because their thoughts are already so ingrained in this one belief.
Still ain't pull the weeds up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, it's a practice. It's a practice. You're not going to be able to pull all of your weeds out in one day, babe. You know,
like, one thing that made me think is because somebody or something you hear might challenge your thought and your belief and go, and you want to hang on to the limiting belief because you have tied that to your identity and you really want to justify, like, no, you just don't get it. This is just life. This is really what it is. You don't look at my bank account. Look at my bills. Look at this. Okay, I see it. I see you. I see you glowing though. I see you overcoming. I see you taking action today. I see you aligned. I see you taking a nap today if you need it. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I see you putting a smile on and being happy in the present moment and being grateful for so many things that you have to be grateful for. I'm pretty sure they will overshadow everything that you feel like you lack if you put more attention into that.
Yeah. And if it's this thing of like, but look at my bills, look at my bank account, look at how empty my bed is, look at what, whatever the thing, whatever it is. If that's the energy, then that's going to continue to be the energy. And if that's how we're looking at things, that's what we're going to continue to breed. And if it's this thing of look at what I don't have, you're going to always find a thing that you don't have. And you're going to always find a thing that you're not satisfied with. So while the discontent or the unhappiness can breed direction to where you want to go, it is not permanent. And I think people think that like, oh, look at my bank account, this is what it's going to be forever. Or I feel sad, this is how it's going to be forever. Or I'm alone and this is how it's going to be forever. And it's like, when we then think that way, that is then when we continue the process, and then it feels like forever because we're still mentally there, even if it's not happening anymore. It's like people who just want to look for something to be upset about.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been saved by the bell so many times.
Perfect timing. We're going in, we're going up, we're glowing up. The abundance is real. Put that in the comments. If you made it this far, you're a superstar. Comment. I made it this far. I'm a real one.
And I'm shifting my perspective.
Yeah. Being mindful of everything I mentioned. We had to switch up the intention.
Ooh.
The abundance is real. I want you to receive it today. Believe it today. Walk like it. Talk like it.
Act like it. Yeah. Embody the person that you want to become. Be that person today without the external validating it.
You are abundant. The tools. I got the tools for you. August 18th. Ooh. The abundance is real. It's a tool for you to really put it in your tool. Put it on your tool belt. Wear it every day. Listen every day. Put it on repeat. Reprogram. Uh-oh, I see you going up right now. Leave a comment for your future self, by the way. 2024, August. Ooh. You know what I mean? Let them know. Hey, I see you. Congratulations. You really did it. You stopped the hesitation. You stopped the limitations. You saw yourself. You saw your higher self. Shout out to Modern Headspace. Higher Self is out now, by the way. Oh my, the music is, the music is the start for sure. But love. Hit that subscribe button. Listen, where there's a will, there's a way. Hey, peace, love, smile. You are abundance.